Hello zusammen, welcome back to my channel. I hope that you guys are all having a good day so far. If this is your first time here, welcome. My name is Diana and I make videos all about my life as an expat living in Germany. I'm originally from Toronto, Canada, but I moved over to Berlin for work almost 3 years ago. So on my channel, you can find videos all about the German culture, settling in, tips on finding a job in Germany. So if you are interested in that, definitely make sure to hit subscribe because I do post new videos every single week. Before today's video, I'm actually going to be sharing some interview tips for when you're interviewing with a German company. I got a lot of questions like this over on the Facebook group or on my website, so I wanted to make a video for all of you who are in the process of applying for jobs and going through the whole interview process with a German company. Now, of course, every country is different in terms of interview etiquette, but I'm going to be sharing my own experiences and sharing tips that I've gathered from other friends who have gone through interviews in Germany as well. So these will be more general tips, but hopefully it can help you get your foot in the door. Of course, make a good impression and ultimately just secure the job that you want in Germany. So let's go ahead and get started. One of the first things for sure is to make sure that you are punctual. You don't want to be late to your interview, whether that's an in-person interview or a Skype interview. I did all of my interviews through Skype, so I was still living in Canada before I received a job offer to move here. So I always made sure that I was on the call way earlier. You know, give yourself at least 15 minutes to set up your call if you are doing it through Skype to make sure that you've installed everything properly and all the connections are working so that you are not delayed. And of course, if you are going to an in-person interview, make sure that you arrive early. Now, in North America, it said that you should arrive 15 minutes before the interview. Based on what I've gathered in Germany, you don't have to be 15 minutes early to your interview. As long as you're 5 minutes early, that should be enough time. Just make sure that you get there right before or right on time because you don't want to make a bad first impression, and we all know how important it is to make a solid first impression. And for Germans, being punctual is extremely important. It's going to give them the indication as to whether or not you're going to be somebody that turns up late for meetings or if you are a reliable person. So that is definitely number one tip for all of you. Now, the second tip that I have is to dress appropriately. And I don't mean that you necessarily have to go out and dress up in the most fancy clothes that you have, you know, suit and tie situation, but rather do your research beforehand. Go to the company's career page, take a look at their social media profiles, and get a better sense of how the company dresses. So is it more of a casual environment, more of a formal environment? And then that will give you a much better idea of how you should dress for your interview. And if you show up, you know, in a way that's way too formal, for instance, if you're applying to a startup and you give off a really stiff vibe, then the employer might think that you're not going to integrate well with the work culture. So I do recommend taking a look again at the social media pages beforehand, and of course, dress appropriately. Do wear your best outfit, but you know, try to see what the environment is like so that you can give a good impression that you're going to fit in with everybody else that works there. Now, the third tip that I have is when you're talking about your accomplishments, you definitely want to talk about what you can do, but you want to talk about it in a more modest way. Now, I know that this can be a little bit difficult, especially for those coming from Canada and the US, because back home, when we interview or when we're taught about interviewing, we're taught that we should really hype ourselves up and we should talk about how great we are. And we have more of an approach of exaggerating when we talk. Even I do that, you know, I'm always exaggerating a bit. It's just in my nature. But for Germans, if you do that during an interview, it can kind of be seen as arrogant, not genuine, and it might actually, you know, deter them from wanting to hire you. Just make sure you talk about what you can do, what you've done in the past, and how you can help the company grow. But don't do it in a way that's going to make it seem like you are the most important thing in the world. So tread a little lightly here, because again, Germans might not like that approach where you just come full force and say you are the best thing ever to walk into their meeting room. That will be a no-go here. Number 4 is not to talk badly about your previous employers. This is super, super important, and I know sometimes when people go into interviews, they kind of fall into the trap of talking badly about their previous employers because they think it's going to make it seem like they really want the job that they're interviewing for. But especially in Germany, you want to avoid this because Germans really value loyalty with their employees. They want to make sure that they are hiring the right people and the people that are going to help their company grow, and they are not going to be the type of people that just suddenly turn on them and talk shit about them in the next interview or to the next person. So if you are going to talk about maybe why things ended badly with your previous employer, talk about it in a way that makes it seem like you ended things on good terms, that it was a good learning experience for you, and that you have no bad feelings for the previous employer, so that the person you're interviewing with or the company that you're interviewing with is not going to be worried that you're going to switch on them right away and talk shit about them if things don't work out in the long term. And tip number 5 is to be as engaged as possible in the conversation. And you want to show that you are really interested not only in the position but the company as a whole. In general, in Germany, people don't switch their jobs here super often. They usually stay at jobs for a longer term. I know that this is quite different in North America. People switch their jobs, 1 year or 2 years later. That's not necessarily the case here. So the people that you are interviewing with are going to want to see that you are already invested and you're already enthusiastic about, again, not only the role but the company, so that they can picture you in that role and see how you might fit into their long-term plans. So if you ask smart questions, if you show that you've done your research and that you're curious about how you can help the company grow and how you can work together, then I think that's really gonna add a lot to your whole interview, and it's gonna make you stand out a lot more because, again, they do value people that are gonna be there for the long term. So yeah, those are the 5 tips that I wanted to share with you when you are interviewing with a German company. And actually, this video is being sponsored by Skillshare, and Skillshare is an online learning community, and they have courses, thousands of courses actually, ranging from everything from career development to personal development, and they're really affordable. Their annual subscription is under $10 per month. And actually, because they are sponsoring this video, they have offered all of you a 2-month free subscription to Skillshare. So I will go ahead and leave the link down below so that you have access to their courses and you can use them to also develop your skills further so that you can kill it at your next interview. And I did want to recommend a specific course to you guys because I know a lot of you are planning to move to Germany to work in the tech industry and as developers, and they do have a highly rated course that is being taught by a JavaScript expert. So if you are looking to improve your skills in JavaScript and coding, then make sure to check out the course. I'll also leave it linked down below. But I do hope that you take advantage of the 2 free months that they are offering. I think it's a really great opportunity, again, to improve the skills that you already have or learn new skills as well so that you can secure that job that you want in Germany. But that's pretty much all for today's video, you guys. I really hope that you enjoyed it. If you want more resources and tips on moving to Germany, make sure to check out my ebook and my my website down below. I will leave it linked in the description bar. And if you have any questions, also make sure to leave them in the comments and I would be happy to answer those for you. But that's gonna be all for today. I hope you have a great day and I'll talk to you all next week. Cheers!